Hello, free thinkers. Hello, Up Talk My Life community. This is Sean Speaks, and today is Thursday. Happy Thursday. This time space sequence we call April 9th, 2020. I'm going to tell you now, this is going to be a long one. It's entitled, Maybe You Could Fade Some Out. Our affirmation for today, I approve of myself. Maybe you could fade some shit out. I posted a quote the other day that said, it's time to fade some out of your life. And just in case it wasn't clear, I meant it's time to fade some information and people out of your life who only cause you to be fearful and who manipulate your fears for their gains. Like my friend Sharita Franklin says, you better chew that shit. Now, what your shit is, I don't know, but I am willing to share a little of what I had to fade out of my life for a more authentic, open-minded me to emerge. I lived most of my life thinking that my beliefs as a Christian made me special. And if I obeyed the rules of the beliefs, Jesus would come back to get me. I would be protected on this earth, and one day I would go to heaven. And in heaven, there would be streets of gold, and I wouldn't have to cry or worry anymore. And all the people who rejected Jesus or wasn't born in the region where he was taught would go to hell, where there would be gnashing of teeth and a continuous burning. And I just believed this benefit of heaven to me and this dire result of hell to others was fate. I had a sense of pride in this belief. As Carl Jung once said, until you can make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. I spent most of my life trying to be a good Christian to avoid hell and secure my place in heaven. I went to church every week. I prayed to Jesus continuously, and I gave joyfully. And when I did mess up or sin, as I was taught to call it, I immediately felt guilty for my wrongs and asked Jesus for forgiveness. I went to church and put holy oil on my forehead, cried and begged for forgiveness. The thing was, I kept messing up. So I kept feeling guilty and I kept having to ask for forgiveness. I was on a sort of guilt forgiveness cycle, but I didn't know it. And unbeknownst to me, this cycle was only going to take me back to where I started, feeling guilty about something that someone else said was wrong. And this guilt feeling was something I chose to do or just happened outside of my control, was going to then trigger a need for forgiveness feeling. And the guilt forgiveness cycle saga just continues in my life. And I wasn't conscious that this was happening to me. Truth be told, everything I do or say could be wrong in someone else's mind or by someone else's standards. Truth be told, the so-called good things and bad things happen to us all, no matter our beliefs. COVID-19 is not going to pass over you because you hold the Christian badge, the Allah badge, or the I don't believe in anything badge. It doesn't discriminate, and that's worth learning from. I believe that my professed belief and ritualistic lifestyle of going to church every week and saying certain phrases protected me more than others. But truth be told, it does not. We are in this life together, no matter these arbitrary divides that others profit from. What I believe doesn't matter except to the extent that it breathes perpetual life into the system that is dependent on my belief. And yes, it might make me feel good. I only believed what I was told, and I lived my life in an attempted obedience to what someone else told me God said, no matter how senseless it sounded, no matter how others profited from my beliefs, no matter the mental and psychological frustrations it caused me, and no matter the conflicts of what they said God said with what I wanted to say. And that in essence meant that what I say or think don't matter. But that is only true if I believe that what he or she says matter more than what I say. If I continue to live my life measuring what I do or don't do, say or don't say, be or don't be by someone else's standards of God approved or not God approved, then I would never grow past the feelings of guilt about my actions or about my words or about my thoughts. And I would feel guilty because someone says so. And if I lived my life under that kind of fear, I was never going to be able to own being me. And in the words of 50 Cent, who so eloquently stated, if you don't own yourself first, you will continually be at the mercy of people and circumstances, looking outward instead of relying on yourself and your wits. End quote. We all want to live a life that is worthy of the privilege of the breath we get to take for the length of time we get to take it. We all want to get life right. And truth be told, no one knows from where the energy that animates the bodies we possess come from, and no one knows where we go once the energy leaves the body. The body gets buried in the soil, and the energy which once animated the body leaves, and we don't experience it again in the way that we once experienced it between the birth of the body and the death of the body. Is that energy in heaven? I don't know. Is that energy in hell? I don't know. Is that energy still here? I don't know. What we all can agree, I think, is that we all want to live a life worthy of the body we got to possess, no matter who you choose to worship or not. Like a child eager to show her mother the A she got on the test, we all want to be approved. We all want to know that what we are doing is right. We all want to know we are getting life right. The question you have to ask yourself is, why do you believe this life is a test? Have you ever prayed hard to feel right, but still felt wrong? Like many of you, I was taught to be a Christian too. I was taught to go to church every Sunday. I was taught to plead the blood. I was taught to ask Jesus to fix it. I was taught that I was a wretched soul saved from the pit of hell because a man named Jesus died on a cross for my sins, even before I actually sinned. I was taught that if I accepted Christianity, that meant I was now right and chosen. But what does being right really mean? Whether you believe in Jesus or not, religious or not, COVID-19 doesn't care. We have got to start caring for each other without the labels of control and separation and without the fear tactics. Someone sent me a video of a man saying that COVID-19 is a persecution of the church, as if the church is more special than your sister, your brother, your friend, or your family member who may be suffering or have died from this awful disease, Are the 6.6 million U.S. workers unemployed because of this awful disease? The man further said that we need a revival of the old conviction and end time preaching, end quote. Old time conviction? Believed that because my skin was dark, that I was less than a human. He further said that it is time to preach that heaven is sweet and hell is hot. How does he know that? He said it's time to stir up the backslider, and the world is quickly coming to an end. The world has been coming to an end for ages, and a backslider is just a word used to divide. This is not the time to scare people into foregoing their common sense so that you can pack a church house on Sunday because you got people believing the end is near. The end is always near. Your breath in the body is limited. Know this and let this empower you, not scare you. This is not the time to manipulate the fears of scared people to prove a point of how powerful Jesus is or how accurate a book is when you know you can't prove that. No power of any deity can be proven. It can only be believed. And it's through that belief that people can be manipulated. This is not the time to manipulate people with beliefs. It's time to elevate people. I could go deeper. I could say more, but it doesn't matter what I say. What matters is what you say about yourself, what you believe about you, and what you believe about your life. I personally choose to use this time to get wiser, stronger, love harder, and be less fearful. Ashe, free thinkers. Ashe. May what you say manifest in your life today and every day. Ashe.